the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets! Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the Mets! All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell! Give 'em a hand! And let 'em know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet.
You are now watching the Amazing Mets PreGame Show with your hosts, Rob and CP.
Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets!
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the Amazing Mets PreGame Show right here on the channel. And if you're watching on X, how are you doing today? Welcome to the pregame show, guys, as the New York Mets look to take 3 out of 4 against their arch rivals, Atlanta Braves, on this Sunday afternoon baseball. A little bit of a matinee type of game. Big game for our New York Mets. Mets made a couple of trade moves. Mets are trying to get reinforcements. The Mets are trying to get back that number 1 wild card spot as they hold on for one day. And it's going to be a fight over the last 2 months of the season. But the good news is the trade deadline is coming up very quickly, and the New York Mets are going to have less teams to worry about in the wild card over the next couple of days. There's a pretty good chance that they're probably only going to have to worry about 4 or 5 teams, when most of the teams that were fighting out for wild card spots, like the Reds, like, all the bottom teams that are probably 3.5 games out or more, are probably going to either stay pat or sell, and that's less teams the Mets have to worry about going forward over the last 2 months of this wild card race, going into the last 58, 59 games of the season, or 54, 56 games into the season, and that's where we are right now. So, what is the biggest need of our New York Mets going into today's game? Well, it's still very obvious, right? We just got Jesse Winker. That's going to solidify our bench, our lefty bat, our outfielder / DH. He's going to replace DJ Stewart. We did get 2 bullpen arms in Maton and Stanek. And we still got more time to make some moves. And everybody believes that it's going to be another bullpen arm and another starter. At what magnitude? At what height? Is it a big move? 2 big moves? We still got a lot to wait and see, but I think it's going to happen. And look, David Stearns is cooking, right? He's doing his job. He's getting the needs of this team. And you can't get mad at that, right? Right? All the nonsense we heard about small market Stearns, King Cohen, remove his crown, isn't King Cohen anymore, right? Mendoza is a bad manager. All the crap that we've been hearing, especially with the offseason, with David Stearns, that he didn't spend a ton of money. This team 6 games over 500. They were 7 games at a high point as of yesterday. The fact of the matter is, Stearns has done a good job putting his team together, and he needs to get credit for it. Now, he still has work to do. At this current moment at 12:51 on a Sunday, July 28th, a couple days before the trade deadline, he's done a good job. But he still can get criticized if he doesn't finish what he needs to finish to make this team and this roster better once August 1st comes. Because I definitely want another bullpen arm. I definitely want a starter. Now, we can disagree depending on what you think should be the big move. Is it a bullpen arm or a starting pitcher? But I think it's going to happen, even if it's above average players in the bullpen and the rotation. I think he's going to take care and make sure we get both of the needs in both of those respective areas of this roster. So, New York Mets lost 4-0 yesterday. It was a game where, Stollenbach just had every pitch going. The Mets couldn't hit anything. They were missing fastballs right down the middle. Either they didn't see the ball coming out of his hands. You know what? A pitcher has your number on that day. You tip a cap, brush it off, come back the next day, kick their ass. That's what I expect the Mets to do today with David Peterson on the mound for the Mets and Reynaldo Lopez for the Atlanta Braves. Now, I know some people are talking about the lineup today. No JD Martinez, which I think is a good day off for him. He's been slumping. I know he hit the grand slam, but he's like 2 for his last 20-something. And I think you got to give him a day off. Again, you got to keep this guy healthy. You still got 2 months of the season. You can't wear him out. We had no off days, guys. You have to remember that. The Mets had no off days. Remember, this was a 13 games in 13 days going into the trade deadline. So there's no days off until after the Minnesota series. So you got to give these guys day off. JD Martinez is not 25 years old. He's mid-30s here. You got to keep these guys healthy. You get Alvarez back in the lineup. Ben Gamel, who some didn't even remember was on this team, is getting a shot in left field, getting a start in left field today with Tyron Taylor in center and Jeff McNeil in right field. Nimmo is DH, and I like that move as well. Getting Nimmo off his feet a little bit, and you still got that bat in the lineup. Even though Nimmo has been struggling, I'm always waiting for Nimmo to come out of it. And Jose Iglesias is batting second today, which I also like. Now, a little interesting to look at Nimmo batting third. I know that's a big thing for me, considering that I don't think Brandon Nimmo's a 3-hitter at all. But in this circumstance, when it's a Sunday lineup, you're getting a couple of guys out of the lineup. It's kind of, giving Martinez a day off. I don't mind you messing with it on a Sunday, knowing that you have a couple of pieces that you're in the lineup that usually not in the lineup. So I'm not going to go crazy there. Iglesias has been, badass, has been really good. Nimmo, batting third today. We'll see how it goes. Pete Alonso is still struggling, but did have a big home run in this series already. Mark Vientos, Jeff McNeil, Alvarez, who hit a home run the other night as well. Tyron Taylor, who has one of the best games as a New York Met in that Yankee series, he's getting a start. Look, it's a Sunday lineup. What are you going to do? Right? You got, again, Ben Gamel is definitely your 26th man on the roster. Him and DJ Stewart are like A and B when it comes to the last man on the roster. Give him a day. Give him a day. You have him on the roster. The guy is just sitting there, basically with a scorecard. Like, let him play. Right? This is an opportunity for certain guys to remain on this team. This is another thing as well. Some of these guys are going to be out the door in a day or two. Right? Obviously. So give these guys an opportunity to prove that they should remain on this roster. Right? Because it's Ben Gamel and DJ Stewart. One of these guys are going. Right? So give him a chance. Maybe you hit lightning in a bottle for one day for a guy who is desperate to stay in the big leagues, and you have a game, and he helps you win a ball game. Why not? What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that at all. I heard the Mets have checked in with starting pitcher Jameson Taillon. Yes, they checked in on a lot of starting pitchers. I'm going to be doing a video probably tomorrow. Well, I actually finished the video. I'm editing it right now, and it'll probably come out, if not today, probably tomorrow, about the trade targets for starting pitching. That a lot of people have been doing bullpen arms targets. I'm going to do starting pitching targets, and we'll see where do the subscribers and where you guys go based on the guys that I brought up. And James Taillon is one of them. And obviously, you know, the big names out there, but a couple of low-key guys as well that we can actually talk about as well. How about trading for Jack Flaherty and Mark Canha? I don't see a fit for Mark Canha anymore. You already got Taylor. You just got Jesse Winker. You don't need more outfield bench pieces. You just don't. You just don't. When Marte comes back healthy, you have way too many outfield bench players. That does not make sense, right? Jack Flaherty, on the other hand, I would try to, you know, get him with Chafin, but that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And again, I'm willing to give up prospects. Is David Stearns willing to give up top 10 prospects? We haven't seen that as of yet. He gave up 2 prospects in your top 30 with Winker and Stanek, but is he willing to push into that top 10 to get the bigger name players? We have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. Yeah, DJ Stewart was just opting down to AAA for Winker, right? Hold on. Give me a second, guys. I got a ton of messages. Jesus Lord. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay. All right. So let's see. Mets have opted DJ Stewart. All right. So DJ Stewart's in AAA Syracuse. So he's already odd man out, which I think a lot of us expected. Ben Gamel is probably going to be here until Marte comes back, whenever that might be. I know Marte has taken a little bit of batting practice as of late, so we'll see where he ends up probably in the coming weeks. But if the Mets do get another sorry, still working that cold. If they do think about getting another bat, which I don't see why they would get another outfield bat for a bench, then Ben Gamel's the odd man out as well. So, look, the good news is DJ Stewart goes back down to AAA. He has an option. So you have him in the minor leagues for a worst case scenario, you know, like an injury or something like that, where obviously DJ Stewart would probably be the next call. So, yeah, Daniel, again, I'm all on board for Skubal and, you know, Crochet. I'm all on board for a guy like Flaherty. All those guys we're talking about, starting pitchers. But also ask, Daniel, you can ask your dad, you can ask other people or yourself, what are you willing to give up? Because it all comes back to, what are you willing to give up? Right? In my case, I don't care. You can pick a prospect and I'll tell you send them. It's just that simple. That's my opinion. And I don't care about people saying, oh, you're jeopardizing your future. You're really not. You're really not. Because if your farm system is as good as people are talking about, you can give 2 top 10 prospects and maybe a lower level prospect to get a Skubal, a Crochet, you know, guys like that, a Flaherty. You should be able to do that. It shouldn't break your farm system to pieces for getting that. If you're afraid to do it, then why even go after it at all, in my opinion? Right? That's the way I see it. I don't like half-assing deadlines. I think when you half-ass a deadline, you don't do the right job for this team. And again, I don't have to believe in this team. You don't have to believe in this team. David Stearns needs to believe in this team. And in my opinion, I think he's believing in this team, considering what he's done over the last week and a half, getting 2 bullpen arms and now getting a bench bat that we desperately needed, better than DJ Stewart. Well, Steven, again, he came late. He had to get a physical, and it only recently happened that he was officially on the roster. Again, he can come off the bench, guys. It's not the end of the world. Again, guys, Jesse Winker is not starting every day. We have to understand that. This guy is replacing DJ Stewart. He is not replacing everybody that is a right fielder or an outfielder. He's not doing that, right? He might be number one off the bench for an outfield bat almost every day, but he's not going to be your starter. Like, we have to get that through our heads. And could we stop making Jesse Winker out to be Ken Griffey Jr.? It sounds like we're making Winker better than he actually is. The guy has not been as good over the last couple of years with the Mariners or with the Nationals than he was with the Reds. We keep on remembering the guy who played for the Reds and how well he played with the Reds. That was a couple of years ago, guys. It's not yesterday. And we also remember him being a Mets killer. We got to understand that. Just because he kills us doesn't mean he's going to be outstanding and better than he actually is for us. He's going to help us. Let me make that clear. He is a solid player, but we're making him out to be, again, he's still not better than Marte, guys. Let's make that a fact. Marte was one of our best offensive players before he got hurt. So if you think Marte is going to be sitting on the bench and Winker's going to be starting, you are going to have a rude awakening because it's not happening. Now, Winker and Tyrone Taylor are going to platoon. That's it. That was the whole purpose of getting why there was talked about Winker or Conforto. Both guys were going to replace DJ Stewart. So DJ Stewart's role obviously was very limited, and Jesse Winker is going to have more of a role than DJ Stewart, but he's platooning with Tyrone Taylor. Right? Ben Gamel is playing today because just don't throw Jesse Winker to the wolves here. Give him a chance to settle in. All right? It's one game. He'll probably play tomorrow. He'll probably pinch hit for Ben Gamel some point in the game if the Mets are either trailing and they need a big hit or for defensive purposes. Or just let's just get a bat in the lineup because we're a tie game, we're behind, something like that. He'll probably pinch hit for him. So we'll see. Yeah, D. Well, that's the idea of him being a guy off the bench. He's been really good off the bench. Like they even talked about it the last time we faced the Nationals, that Jesse Winker is one of the better guys pinch hitting off the bench. So he is a threat off the bench. So he could pinch hit for a Taylor or a Ben Gamel late in this ball game. So you could see him today. Tom, how you doing? Hey, Tom, bartender. What's up, man? I always appreciate you guys. Hopefully you're holding out in Vegas for me. Yeah, Daniel Shorey Foley, which is another reinforcement for the Mets, is starting his rehab, which is nice. All right. You only trade top prospects for a top return? No, Jay, you don't. You don't do that. But you don't, though. And I wouldn't call Winker, that is disrespectful to Winker. He's not marginally better than DJ Stewart. He is a better player than DJ Stewart. He's a better defender. He's better average. He's better with power. He's just a better player. And it didn't cost us much. It cost us a 17-ranked prospect where Stewart has kind of been disappointing in a Mets farm system perspective because he was projected to be up this year and be a help to either this year or next year. And he kind of, I wouldn't say struggled, but kind of a little bit of a disappointment. So the Nationals got him. All right, let's see. Need to DFA Miguel. I'll say if not, well, I don't see why you DFA Miguel. Again, did anybody believe we were gonna get more from McGill than we actually got? I don't think McGill pitched bad yesterday. He wasn't great, but and this is why I always go back to guys who can actually pitch with a higher pitch count. Right? McGill replaced Christian Scott. He pitched better than Christian Scott did all year. He absolutely did. Right? If Christian Scott did what McGill did yesterday, give him up a couple of home runs, a couple of 4 runs, he would have been out of the game probably in the 4th or 5th inning. Because Tyler McGill can throw to 90 plus to 100 pitches, you kept him in a ball game. I mean, he gave up 4 runs with a couple of 5, 6 hits. It's not a bad outing. 6+ innings. It's not a bad outing. What were you expecting from McGill? 8 innings, 2 runs? Sorry. I just believe that we're looking into it, and McGill's not a bullpen piece. I don't think he's going to be very good in the bullpen. But, I mean, you can throw him in there. He can replace the Hauser part of the bullpen if you want to do that. But McGill was a necessity because of the Christian Scott, Kodai Senga issue. McGill was going to be in Christian Scott's start anyway. If you look at the numbers, McGill pitched better than Christian Scott any of his starts. And don't give me, oh, look, Christian Scott did 5 innings, 3 runs. Great. But that's all he's doing. At least I know if McGill doesn't have it, he can still give you 6+ innings and give you length. That's the difference between Christian Scott, Tyler McGill, or another veteran starter. I don't want Christian Scott back in this rotation. And if you do, you're not paying attention to what the Mets are doing with him as a starter. The guy is not throwing more than 90 pitches. He's not going past 5 innings. Why have a starting pitcher not do any of that, regardless of how he pitches? He could be pitching a perfect game, guys, and Christian Scott would be taken out of the game because of pitch count. That's a problem. Because if Christian Scott's pitching really damn good, I want him to remain in the ball game. The Mets are not going to do that. So why put yourself in a situation where no matter how good or bad he pitches, he's coming out 90 pitches, 5 innings? At least with McGill, you can get 6+ innings in a day like yesterday, which, let's be honest, guys, we lost the game yesterday because the Mets didn't score. The Mets, who've been scoring 6 runs per ball game or more over the last 2 months, didn't do anything. So McGill could have threw 6 innings, 1 run, we would have lost. And I'm not telling you that McGill deserves to be in this rotation long-term or anything like that. But find me better internally right now. Now, I'm not saying you can't go out and make a trade and get a starter and then replace McGill, put him in the bullpen, and let McGill be that Hauser spot in the bullpen. But don't tell me an internal option. Don't give me Sproat. Don't give me Vazel. Don't give me anybody in the minors. That's a prospect. That's a young arm. Because you're going to deal with the same crap you're dealing with Christian Scott. They tried to protect him. He still got hurt. So you're going to bring up a young arm who's going to have an innings limit and a pitch count limit every game. I don't need to deal with that in the remaining 2 months trying to make a playoff spot. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, Jose Butto is better than McGill. Absolutely. But here's the problem. You're losing a guy in your bullpen that has been very successful to go in the starting rotation. Who's filling Jose Butto's role? Why hurt the bullpen when you don't have to? I like Jose Butto in the bullpen. Do I like him as a starter? Yes. But he's been damn good in the bullpen. Why mess it up? And on top of that, guys, you got to stretch out Jose Butto. You can't throw him in the rotation tomorrow and expect him to go 5-6 innings. You got to stretch him out. So that's going to take 2 starts to stretch him out. So you got to send him back to the minors to stretch out for 2 weeks, maybe 3, to do 2 or 3 starts so you can get his pitch count up to 80 to 90 pitches. That takes 2 or 3 starts. So are you willing to send Butto down, not have him in the bullpen or the rotation for 2 or 3 weeks to stretch him out? So that'll be September. Are you willing to do that? Because that's what you're going to have to do with Butto. Butto is not moving from the bullpen. You don't have time to stretch him out and wait until end of August to September to get him back in the rotation to stretch him out. He's too valuable in the bullpen, and you can't afford to lose him out of the bullpen right now to stretch him out for 2 starts. Yes, you are losing in the pen because I don't think McGill's going to be better than Butto. So you're already losing out on that. And McGill has not been good in the bullpen. They tried that in 2022. He was an absolute disaster. He walks the ballpark. He is prone to walking a ton of batters. You can't have a guy that you're going to throw in the 7th inning where Butto has been a staple of right now, or throw multiple innings for a guy who has problems walking. He doesn't have good numbers in the bullpen. So the fact is, You're going to waste Jose Butto in the bullpen, and you're not going to have him as a starter for at least the next 3 weeks because you need to stretch him out. You can't throw Jose Butto as a starter and say, here, pitch 3 innings. Great. How's that going to help us? So that's the issue, Carlos. Again, I'm on board with you, but the process of stretching him out and the process of hurting your overall team through that process is not worth it at this point. And he's been damn good. And when Nunez comes back, to have Butto, Stanek, Maton, with Diaz, damn, that's pretty damn good. Yeah, I don't think Miguel is going to be good in the pen. Like, I just don't see it. I just don't. Yeah, it's a short sample size, but that's all we have to go on. You can't tell me that he's going to be better in the bullpen. And let's be honest, I can't tell you just because of a short sample size, he's not going to be good in the bullpen. It's too much of a risk at this point. Adrian Hauser has done it in his career successfully. Miguel, in a very short instance, has done a little bit and wasn't good. So I have a little bit of proof that he hasn't been good, but you can go both ways on that. But I can't trust this at that point. At this point, I want guys that I either know are coming from a bullpen from another team, or stop messing. You can't gamble right now unless there's major injuries and you have no choice, and it's after the deadline. Fine. But I'm not gambling or having question marks in my bullpen going into August and September. It's too risky. It's way too risky right now. Now, Stanek is going to help. I do think Stearns is going to make at least one more bullpen move. So that's where we are right now. So the Jose Butto experiment as a starter this year is done. Because you don't have time to stretch him out. And you can't afford losing him in the bullpen for 2-3 weeks. It just can't happen. Because you got to send him down to the minors to stretch him out without any pressure. And make sure he doesn't get hurt. So he's going to be remaining in the bullpen. And there's no reason why to move him while McGill gave you 6+ innings of 4-run baseball. The Mets didn't score any runs yesterday. So to blame McGill for yesterday is silly. Because the Mets could have lost 1-0 yesterday. That's how good Stalenbach was. So it really didn't matter. In my opinion, that was an okay start from McGill. And the only reason why it was okay, not because of the 4 runs, because he gave you 6 innings. Tried to give you a little bit more, but didn't. He gave you 6 innings, which, again, any young arm you bring in besides Butto as a starter wasn't going to give you that because they don't get that far. So I take 6 innings, 4 runs every start from Tyler McGill because I trust the offense to score more runs than that. You know, we have this idea in our heads, and this is probably an old school mentality, which I'm all in favor of, but it doesn't happen anymore, right? When the average starting pitcher in baseball overall goes 5 1/3 innings, unless you're an elite pitcher or at least a 1A, 1B starting pitcher, you're not doing that. You're not going past 6 innings, rarely. So the majority of baseball and pitchers, unless you're an ace, go more than 6 innings or more. So to expect guys that aren't as good as aces to go that and be better than they actually are is silly. If you would have told me prior to yesterday's game, McGill's going to give you 6 innings, 4 runs, I'm like, all right, I'd rather have 3 runs in the 6 innings, but I'll take 6 innings, 4 runs, his first start back in the majors since the injury. I would have took it because I would have expected the Mets to score more runs than that. It just didn't happen yesterday. That wasn't a bad start. Was it good? Borderline. It was probably a little bit below average, but a lot better than some pitchers do. And now it's his first start coming back. I don't know what everybody was expecting. And on top of that, he threw a lot more pitches than was expected of him to throw. because he wanted to protect the bullpen, and Mendoza wanted to protect the bullpen, and he got an extra inning out of him, which was the 6th. So he only had to use a couple of pitches instead of probably 4 or 5. So, well, Daniel, I don't think they're going to put Christian Scott in the bullpen, even though I would have done that probably 2 months ago. I don't think you can mess with him now coming back from injury. He can't stay healthy as a starter, and now you can throw him in a bullpen and get up at a moment's notice and think he's going to stay healthy. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So, yeah, they're on actually. Well, yeah, the Braves had a good ball. Their pitching has been really good. They're one of the better. They give up the least amount of runs in baseball. Their offense has been the problem. So, like I said, the Braves didn't bludgeon us yesterday. How many hits did McGill give up? 5, 6? It's not bad. So, listen, today you come out, you brush off yesterday, you come out, beat down on Lopez. David Peterson, not enough Met fans are talking about him. I said this numerous times on multiple shows. David Peterson has been pretty damn good. Probably one of our most consistent pitchers since David Peterson has come back from injury. He's been that good. Why do I expect anything different? He's been good. Even when he gets himself in jams, he finds a way out. How he does it, I have no idea. But guess what? He does it. He does it. So let's see what happens today. The Mets are a half a game out of the second and first wild card. Again, this is going to be a back and forth the rest of the season, guys. Back and forth. You're going to be in the first wild card, third wild card, second wild card, third wild card, first, third, second, first. It's going to be all over the place. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. 8-0 with Peterson on the mound. So that just tells you that even if he doesn't have his great stuff, he's going to keep his team in the ball game. And that's all you can ask for, right? That's all you can ask for from starting pitchers that are not top-level starting pitchers. Elgood, the lineup scares you? Well, welcome to Sunday baseball, right? Winker just got here. He went through his physical. It's not like he's not going to be available today. He will be. He'll probably come off the bench in some spot to hit for Gamble or Taylor, depending on what's the situation. So, I mean, everybody wants JD Martinez in the lineup now. He's been struggling besides the Grand Slam. Give him a day off. The guy's 35 years old. Give his legs a break. You know, he's played a lot. The Mets are going through 13 games in 13 days. You got to give these guys a day off. And the other thing, you put Nimmo as the DH today, you get him off his feet in the outfield. You got Taylor, you got Gamble, you got McNeil. Those guys are perfectly fine defensively in the outfield. You're not hurting yourself defensively, right? Here's a situation. Tell me you haven't heard this before. How about Alonso stepping up today without Martinez in the lineup? Right? Why not? Out of all the guys in this lineup that start every day, Alonso has been the worst out of all of them. Alvarez has been just as bad, but he's starting to get his hits a little bit. He showed some power the other day. Vientos has been better than Alonso. Nimmo has been struggling, but I feel like Nimmo is going to break out of it because Nimmo's shown me this year he can do it. Alonso has not showed me to be consistent enough to break out of anything. Yeah, he can hit a ball over the wall. That's nice. But when you do it once every 12 to 14 at-bats, you're not helping your ball club. So let's get it going, Pete. How about have a game? Put the team on your back today. Win us a series. I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. Yeah, Duran, Ozuna has been outstanding. I mean, McGill was perfect until the Ozuna bat. He hung one pitch, and Ozuna hit it over the wall. That's how good Ozuna has been this year. Well, Carlos, he's an edgy player, right? The Mets just got two guys in Stanek and Winker that are edgy players that don't take no bullshit from nobody, right? You know that one clip that went viral when Stanek was on Houston and he was pitching against the Dodgers and he just went crazy coming off the mound after he struck out somebody and just crazy, went nuts. That's the type of guy we're getting. We're getting a badass, all right? Now, you could be a badass, but you better perform because then people won't like you, i.e. McNeil, who is a crybaby when he doesn't get his way. And when you always get angry at every little moment and you're not performing, people don't like it. So, hey, let's get it done today, guys. Let's get it done today. Let's win a series against the Braves, get back above the Braves. Now, depending on what the Cardinals do, you could be tied for first. You could be ahead in first in the wild card. But it's going to be a whole back and forth for the rest of the season. Game 105 is today. Due to Met, guys, there's not that many games to go. Just above 50, what is it? If I could do math, 56 games. Right? Yeah, we're going to go with that. There's 2 months of the season left, guys. We're going to be getting through the dog days of summer, which is August. You got today, you got the 29th, today, tomorrow, and Tuesday for the deadline, guys. Let's get it done. Let's get more reinforcements. Let's make it happen. We do have a brutal trip coming up. The trip sucks. You got to go West Coast, back to the Northeast, back to the Midwest, then the West Coast. It's a pain. It's a bitch. But you know what? Get it done. I don't want to hear no more excuses from anybody. The road trip sucks. I can assure you there's teams that have terrible road trips the way it's set up all the time. Get it done. Play good. I don't care. You're professionals. I know you get tired, but get it done. Right? You got today and 3 more games at home. Can you win 3 out of 4? 3 out of the next 4? That wins you the Braves series. That wins you the Twin series. That's at least, 8 games over 500? 9 games over 500? Going on the road? Make it happen. Let's see if they can do that. So, Mets are 55 and 49. The Braves are 55 and 48. Ronaldo Lopez is on the mound for the Braves with David Peterson for the New York Mets. If you are under a rock or you're working or you're sleeping, you're having a tough Sunday, crazy Sunday, you can't check up on things, the Mets did trade for Jesse Winker from the Nationals, giving up Tyler Stewart, the right-handed pitcher, number 17 prospect in their system. So, will the Mets win today? Will David Stearns make another trade? Because let's be honest, guys, have we heard any rumors before they happened? You didn't hear anything about Stanek. You definitely didn't hear anything about Maton. And you kind of heard a little bit of Jesse Winker, but it was more the fans talking about, hey, why didn't the Mets go after Jesse Winker? What we heard, the Mets were looking at Michael Conforto. So 3 trades in a matter of 2 weeks, and not one reporter had the Mets in on any of those guys. So what does that tell you? Just because you don't hear nothing doesn't mean David Stearns isn't making us better, isn't working the phones, isn't trying to get better arms in his bullpen and in the rotation. So don't get discouraged if you're a Mets fan, if you're seeing the Yankees rumored to this guy and that guy, or the Braves, or the Phillies, or this guy, that guy. Don't worry about it. I can assure you the Mets and David Stearns is in on everybody you're probably thinking about. Now, will they get some of those guys? We'll see. But David Stearns and Steve Cohen, they've made, at least Steve Cohen has made everything involving the Mets when it comes to offseason moves, trade deadline, very hush-hush. And David Stearns is no different. He don't want to get leaks out there. Because when you get leaks out there, that means other teams hear it. And if the other team is competing for that same player, they might come back and try to up the offer. So if you keep things hush-hush, you and that other team can work out a trade without the media going crazy and blowing up the spot and blowing up offers. That's what you want to do. So David Stern has done a really good job so far at this trade deadline, getting 2 bullpen arms in Maton and Stanek, and the bench bat that we need, left-handed, replacing DJ Stewart, who is better than DJ Stewart and Jesse Winker. So far, the needs of this team has been addressed up to this point from David Stearns. So we actually have a GM that is getting needs of this team and not needs of this team for guys who are bad or not good. He's getting good players added to this team where they are needed. That's the difference. And that's why I respect the hell out of David Stearns, because this guy knows what he's doing. So all the naysayers, all the people that call him small market Stearns, the guy knows how to run a team. He knows how to work a trade deadline. Just look at the trade deadlines in years past with the Brewers with no money. The deals that he made to make his team better. He had to be Houdini to make moves with no money. And he made his teams better. Now, I guarantee you, if he had money to spend and add on to the payroll, right? Add to the payroll, he would and probably would have got more players. But when you're handcuffed by an owner, like he was with the Brewers, you can only do so much. Yet, the Brewers, out of his 8 years as GM, made the playoffs 6 out of the 8. The guy knows what he's doing. So, with that said, guys, I want you guys to enjoy the game. Be a rockin' City Field today. David Peterson is the Mets are 8-0 with David Peterson starts. Reynaldo Lopez is a tough righty that the Mets have struggled against. Lineup's a little bit different today. Let's get the job done. Let's take another series. Let's go back up to 7 games, over 500, and take full control over that number one wild card once again. And look out for rumors and news and trade possibilities over the next couple of days, guys. You're going to be hearing a lot of them. David Stearns is working. Let's get it done. So with that said, thank you for watching the Amazing Mets pregame show. We have just about 200 in the stream today. Appreciate you guys watching on YouTube and on X. If you are on X, please head over to the channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as you will be getting all the latest news, rumors about the Mets' possible deals. Obviously, you'll get the pregame show. You get postgame shows. Tonight, guys, if you haven't checked, the Mets Roundtable podcast, 9 p.m. tonight. Finally, we are back. I'm just confirming. All right, so unfortunately, Stalicata has to cancel because he has other duties, baseball related. So Stalicata can't join us tonight. We just found out he had to cancel it's not really last minute. It's 1:30. So I do appreciate Sal trying to get on with us. He accepted. Unfortunately, things happened. He has other obligations that popped up last minute. No problem. Stalicata is always welcome on the channel and on the roundtable. So we're going to try to find somebody else to replace Stalicata today. We'll wait and see who that might be. If not, you're going to get the roundtable crew. I don't know if Chris is going to be available, but I will be able to try to get somebody else to replace. I'm going to ask a couple of people, maybe another beat reporter. We'll see. No, Frank, Hector been trying. Hector's been talking to Sal. Sal just got back to him and he had to cancel last minute. Oh, well, last minute. That's kind of silly. 8 hours from the stream. But he had to cancel. That's okay. Stalicata, you're always welcome on the channel. Again, he has all the obligations when it's Sunday and it's Sunday Night Baseball and he has to do SNY. Nothing we can do about that, right? So he's working as well. His main gigs are obviously more important to him and his family than coming on my show or the roundtable. That's just an obvious observation. So we're going to be working on trying to get another guest. If not, it's probably going to be me, Hayden, and Hector, possibly Chris. If not, I'll try to roll somebody else in the stream. Maybe Nick, that usually worked with CP. Maybe try to get him on. We'll see. So with that said, let's see what David Stearns got cooking. Let's get a W today, 10 minutes until game time. David Peterson, Reynaldo Lopez on the mound for both teams. Let's beat those Braves. As always, Met fans, let's go Mets. And I'll see you later tonight on the roundtable, guys. Enjoy the game.
Ride up and greet the Mets. Bring your kids.